Aloha and welcome to the Kupuna Connections television series. I am Cullen Hayashida with the Kapi'olani Community College Kupuna Education Center, and we're here every week on Saturday to broadcast and share information that is important to our families about caregiving. And this week we are very fortunate to have an interesting discussion about home renovation loans with our experts from the city. And with me are Sam Moku and Bob Myers from the city and county of Honolulu. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'd like you to perhaps start out with a brief introduction about who you are and what do you do. Sam?
Okay. Go ahead, Sam. My name is Sam Moku, and I am the current director for community services at the Honolulu and City and County of Honolulu. And I'm just glad to be here to help out.
Okay, great.
Okay. And I'm Bob Meyer, loan officer with the Rehabilitation Loan Branch at the City and County. I've been with the city for about 4 years now, and I have over 40 years of lending experience, most of which was with Bank of Hawai'i.
Oh, okay. So we got two experts here with the city, and this program is quite unique, and we're very excited about the fact that it's been around for a while, and it's been providing some very good services for our seniors. Let's start out with some general questions with regards to now. Of course, the older adults in Hawaii has been growing by leaps and bounds, and we all know that. And the push now is not to encourage people to be institutionalized in nursing homes, but to remain at home. And so you have this Honolulu Rehabilitation Loan Program, and that's supposed to, in a sense, provide that assistance. Tell us about what is this this Rehabilitation Loan Program? How long has it been around, and what's this all about?
Okay, the program, Colin, although it's not designed specifically for seniors, that probably is our most likely customer because in many cases the seniors are on fixed incomes, and that is the kind of customer we're going. Our program is administered along with housing and urban development with the federal government, where we receive our funding from. And it is a lot of our seniors find it good for age and place kinds of upgrades to their residences.
So how long has this been around now? What would you say?
Our program's been, it may come as a surprise to people, but we've actually had the program in existence since the early 80s. And we've probably done in excess of 1,000 loans since that period.
Wow. And great help to a lot of people that just need who want to remain at home. That's terrific. So this program, how do people apply or how do you get a loan from this program?
I think there's an application process. One of the important factors for this rehab loan program is that the families have to be in a certain income category in order to qualify, which is 80% or below, not to exceed 80% of the area median income. So you're looking at a household of one, basically 56,000, or a household of 8, around 105,000.
That's correct.
So I think a lot of families qualify. There's a lot of families who are in that 80% median income category on the island.
What would you say is the median income right now for the state? Any figures you can help us with?
And I'm only, as far as state median income, and
Right.
I'm only repeating what I just happened to hear on the news the other day, which was $64,000 a year is state median income.
Okay.
Of course, each of the locales, Honolulu and the outer islands, are a little bit different, but I think that was for the state was 64,000.
So we're talking about 80% of that would make you qualify?
No. I think HUD comes out with a guideline. And I'm pretty sure they take it from the census. They use the census, and they will determine what is the area median income for Honolulu, for the county of Maui, for the Big Island, for Kauai, and they will actually set those guidelines every year. They do it every year, and it's been increasing.
It has been.
Yeah, the area median incomes have been increasing.
I see. Okay. And let's see, your loan program versus a bank loans program. Why bother going to the city for a loan?
Okay, our loan program really is, I think our customers really come from a different category than the bank loan customers would come from. We're designed primarily to assist those people who are on somewhat limited incomes, whereas their program is designed for people who are more truly out there still working and making a substantial amount of money to be able to qualify. Many of our customers may not even qualify for a bank loan, especially those that are in the 60% or lower of median income, because they just would not have the income to qualify for the loan.
Okay. And the amount of the, let's say the interest rate, would that be about equivalent, less?
I think we're looking at interest rates between 0 and 2% right
Zero.
now. So depending on your income level, you could get 0% interest loan, or if you do not exceed the 80% area median income, then 2% would be the max.
That's correct.
Right.
What's the going rate for commercial bank loans for? Is that a?
This is, it's more of a guesstimate and a gut feel at this point, Cullen, but I think probably for second mortgage loans, the banks are probably around, in today's market, around 6 to 7%.
Okay, okay. And that's supposedly very good relative to times in the past,
yes.
But 2% really sounds
good.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
You can't get that anywhere else, yeah? Okay, and so some of this money, this is all city money, or is this federal dollars, or state monies as well, or how does the total amount of this money that you're loaning out?
The funding that we have for our program now, Cullen, is all federal money.
Oh, it's federal.
It comes through the Housing and Urban Development. This is where we receive our funding for this program.
Okay. So let's say now, if we talk about repairs, what kinds of repairs can be done, for the money that you borrow? Maybe we can see some sample examples of what we're talking about here. We got some photos here that maybe you can share with what this is all about.
Okay, here we have, and this is, I recall, I'm not sure on all of these, but I think this is more central. I think this was up in the IAEA area, is one of the programs that we have where we can do actually the installation of solar water heating units. And that's what this particular home has got.
Oh, okay. And so let's look at this next slide here. So this is all part of that whole solar water, I guess, component that you installed. And so this would qualify. So if a family say, I'd like to install a solar water heating system, that would qualify. That would be an appropriate type of
that is
loan.
Any energy savings devices that we can include in the program, we're able to do that.
You encourage that. Okay. And how about this next picture here? I think this was a garage. I think that's pretty beat up, I think.
Right. That particular one, roof was completely gone from that carport there, as you can see from that particular slide right there.
It just fell apart or something?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of turbine damage and maybe some wind that did that one.
Right.
Wow. Okay. And so in this next slide here, I guess this is part of that renovation work that
Correct. We have a continuation of the same project there.
Okay. And then this one here.
And now we can see the finished product there for the roofing.
Yeah. Okay. And so these are the type of work that you folks do all the time. It's buildings and renovations of that sort.
It is, and you're correct. It's renovation primarily for anything related to health and safety. If you're looking to renovate just because you want to have new carpet or something, unfortunately, program is not designed for that. It is anything related to health and safety such as
termite
damage.
Yeah, which is kind of probably the main. A lot of the main ones is termite damage.
I see. So if I wanted a jacuzzi, you won't say yes, huh?
Unfortunately, we have to decline that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so in this next photo here, you got this, I guess,
kitchen renovation.
It's a kitchen.
Is that a kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened in this situation here?
Well, it's just with anything else that over time, and I think probably the kitchen is one of those rooms in the home that's probably used more than anything else.
Yeah.
And especially with the cooking greases and those things of that nature,
right.
The water that's coming from the sink, you tend to get a lot of damage in there.
Right.
I think if you look at a lot of the homes, in the older areas, that's where a lot of, I think the health and safety issue comes. Yeah. And so when, I live in Kapi'olani, so the house that I live in, it was built in 1955. So I do all of my renovations, but families, elderly families who are struggling, or
Right.
they don't have their kids or children there to help.
Yes,
This is a way
yes.
for the
Yeah.
city to be involved in helping them refurbish or just renovate, rehab their home, so
Okay,
that it's
okay.
safe for them.
Yes, yes, yes. So in these homes that you renovate, I guess, like you said, it needs to be health and safety related. So if they've got maybe special needs, let's say they're in a wheelchair and you've got to rebuild their kitchen cabinet so that it's a little lower, those are all things that are doable, huh?
And even I think there's a slide on accessibility, ramp accessibility.
Okay,
that
okay,
we're
okay.
able to also.
Let's see what we have here on the next slide here. I guess, wow, that's
That was the finished product.
I think that's a finished product
Finished
of the
product,
kitchen, yeah.
the kitchen, yeah. So, and it's all open space like that, so it makes it, it's very nice. In that
Especially if
respect.
someone were in need of a wheelchair there, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
And then this one here, I think
That's the bathroom, I believe, on that same unit, which was over on the windward side, as I recall.
okay, yeah. And then you got here
Kind of the finished product.
part of the finished product there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, kitchen and bathrooms can be quite expensive, I guess, huh? This is
Certainly.
another-
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Kitchen, I think, is the most expensive.
Very much,
Yeah.
yes.
And this is the accessibility ramp for the Kupuna. So that is also eligible. What you might call.
for loans,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Are those ramps expensive to install?
Surprisingly, even though that ramp looks fairly simple, and I don't remember the cost on that one, it is not an inexpensive item to put in.
So-
and that's why our program really is very helpful for that
So
sort of thing.
maybe just in terms of estimated cost, what could you?
For that one that we just looked at, and I'm going to take a stab at this one, I
Sure.
think that ramp was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000.
Is that
I could be somewhat
Yeah,
wrong, but
yeah.
I believe that's where in the neighborhood of about where that was.
What causes it to be so expensive? I mean, what's involved?
Well, I don't like to use the old excuse that everybody had to the shipping costs, but nothing comes cheap anymore. Insurances, the cost of processing, and things of that nature are what actually drives the cost up on a lot of this stuff.
Let's say if someone wants to have something like a lift, would that be incorporated, or?
We do. In fact, I recall one instance that we have a home that is over in Hau'ula, where the lady has a very difficult time of moving up and down, and she primarily is upstairs because the bottom area of her home is more in a flood-prone area. So she lives upstairs. We have a lift for her.
Okay. And so with all of these home renovation loans, the contractors out there in the community, are they aware of all this opportunity that exists, or?
Yeah, I think a part of the department's process is we send out the inspector, and the inspector will kind of identify the need, and with that will most likely help the client with trying to find the right contractor, or help them with that process.
Okay.
And even through the Building Industry Association, we try to get the word out through them that this program is available.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
right.
okay. All right. Maybe you can help us. Let's say the viewer then says, this seems like pretty good stuff. Walk me through the process. Well, what's step number one? Step number
Okay.
two?
Basically, people could start out by giving us a call, and they can reach us at our downtown office, 768-7076, if that's okay.
Yes.
And-
How about repeating that number one more
Okay.
time? How's that?
And if the folks are in town, or even on the windward side, they could call us in town at 768-7076. And if they're on the leeward side of the island, or even central Oahu, they could call the Kapi'olani office, and that is 768-3240.
Okay.
They could reach us there, and they can get information. Basically, it would work like this. You would call us, Cullen, tell us you're interested in the program, and we would then ask you a few questions regarding your family's size and what your family's income was. And if very basically, if it fell within the parameters of the program, then we would send you an application. Once you complete that application, we will then send a city inspector to your property, and he does an inspection, and he'll come up with a list of things, saying that these are all of the things that need to be repaired. And we then will send you a letter inviting you to get bids from a contractor. Once the contractor obtains all of the bids, the proposal is submitted to us, and we will then review the loan for approval. Now, although our lending parameters are not as tight as you would find with banks and commercial lending companies, we do require that at least you have a reasonable ability to repay the loan. And then, in fact, your property has the equity in it to be able to cover the amount of loan. And then from there, once the loan is approved, we actually place the funding in an escrow account, and we make payments directly to the contractor. So our inspector is there with you throughout the whole process to ensure that your job is being done so that everything is qualified.
What's the length of time, let's say, from their call to this word from you saying it's approved?
Okay, in a perfect world, if we had everything, all the ducks lined up and in order, we could probably get it done within 8 to 10 weeks. Quite honestly, though, on average, it probably takes 3 to 4 months to get it through. I think that the thing that requires more time than anything else is the applicants getting a qualified bid from a contractor. Because aside from everything else, even though we do have our inspectors who are there to assist, the homeowner really needs to have a contractor that they feel comfortable with.
Correct.
And that's sometimes because, let's face it, not all of us go out every day and do this sort of thing. I have experience with it. Sam has experience with it. So if we needed a contractor, we would know who to call right away. Right. But the average homeowner, they're somewhat intimidated by this because they don't do this every day.
Is there an average, a minimum age that these homeowners must be? Or you were mentioning that it's not just for seniors, right? So it's not an age criteria that's involved. It's
owner, just as long as you're owner occupant of the home and you meet the income criteria.
So it's an income criteria. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm an older adult, Kupuna, and let's say I have maybe I'm about 80 years old. Okay, and my eyes are not as good as it used to be, and perhaps. Reading is not something, not my strong point. And I look at this document that you sent me and I'm a little bit intimidated. I don't know where to start. Can you help?
We can help, although we have on occasion where customers will actually ask us to help them out with it. Oftentimes, however, we recommend that a family member assist them with that. They usually have children or siblings that can help assist them with that. But we're certainly there to assist as needed.
What happens if you have, so you can have, let's say, an older adult who is a primary owner of the home living there, and maybe a child or a grandchild that's also living there, and that's okay too, huh?
That's okay too, as long as their total household income meets the criteria. So if the child or the grandchild is working, that income would be included as part of the household income.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that might end up affecting them by not qualifying. Because
or could it affect them to say that then now you qualify, but you have to pay an interest rate or something to that effect?
Oh yeah, they qualify. They might get the maximum of 2%, which is very minimal.
Yeah.
I
see.
I may add in there too, as far as the income qualifications, and this is not a city decision, because our program we are required to operate under the guise of the federal government. There is no wiggle room on the incomes. If the incomes exceed it, even by $1, we just cannot do it.
Right.
You cannot do it. So that's one of the criteria for ineligibility.
That is correct.
Anything else that comes to mind as far as what might disqualify a person from getting the loan?
Probably, I'm sorry, go ahead. Probably the primary thing is to just ensure that there is equity in the property to be able to cover the amount of the loan. In some instances, if a property happens to be in a floodway, then we might not be able to assist on that. And then just as far as other review factors, some of the older homes were required to go through the State Historic Preservation Office to ensure that we're not dealing with historic properties.
Okay. If you've got property that's on Crown land, I mean, does that become an issue, or?
No, I don't think that would be an issue.
that would
Yeah,
not
yeah,
be
yeah.
an
You
issue.
talk about seated
Seated
land.
land, right.
Yeah, no.
That would not.
Yeah, as long as they can show title, right? to them.
Okay.
Now, let me make sure I understand the question. If we're talking about lease lands or
Yes, if it's, I guess.
Hawaiian homelands lease land?
If it's seated, if it's
Or
seated
if
land,
it's
that would
if
be.
it's Hawaiian homelands, then there's another
There's
program.
another
Yeah, there's
program.
another program for
Okay,
that.
got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Although Hawaiian Homelands does have a program, even those folks who are on a Hawaiian Homelands are free to give us a call because we work directly with Hawaiian Homelands to assist in putting a program together for them.
Right.
Okay. My auntie lives on a neighbor island, Kauai, and I have another uncle on Maui. Can they qualify?
Okay, your auntie on Kauai, there is a program
There is a
there on
program.
Kauai for her. Unfortunately, your uncle
On
lives on Maui. Nothing over
Got to
there.
borrow from you.
Okay, we got to talk sorry a little bit about that. So, are there possibilities that there's things are brewing right now on the neighbor island, county councils, as far as new programs in this area, or what's your thoughts?
I'm at a loss myself
Yeah,
as far
yeah,
as
I'm not
Maui
sure.
is concerned. I don't
Yeah.
know. And, we didn't mention the Big Island, but the Big Island does have a program, although
Island
their
has-
program is strictly for Hawaiian Homelands.
Right.
Okay. So the Big Island has one for Hawaiian homelands. Kauai has something that's
Yeah.
somewhat similar. Maui does not.
That is correct.
Okay. So we're lucky that we live on Oahu
Oahu.
then, yeah?
Yeah.
But this is good information for our community of listeners out there. So if, let's say, we've got people out there that have some additional questions, so you gave that number there. But let's say, maybe we could ask it a different sort of way. Can you tell me a story about a person that actually went through this process, or maybe an example of how this has affected somebody's life?
There are a number of examples of folks who have come through, but I think that in my background of lending was always with a bank, and nothing at all against the banks. I think that they're perfectly fine. But the type of lending that we're doing here is for those folks who are really on limited incomes. And I have been surprised at the number of people that we've helped whose tears have actually come to their eyes because they did not think that they would be able to qualify to fix up their home. They saw it as something that was falling apart. They didn't feel there was anywhere to turn. Either they themselves didn't have the ability to do it, or they didn't have anybody in the family that could do it. And they learned of our program and found out that we were able to assist them. And that's very satisfying for me too.
So approximately how many of these loans are you able to make on an annual basis?
It actually varies because the amount of funding that we receive changes from year to year. But as we go for example, with the funding that we have this year, I would say that we're going to have funding for approximately 20 to 25 loans.
Oh, okay. So that's not a great deal, but
Right.
For those that do get it, it can be quite helpful. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, let's take another situation. We've got more and more. We got people that are moving into adult foster homes, adult residential care homes. These are small mom and pop type of. These are not institutions per se. You got two people that are elderly, maybe at the nursing home level of care, living in these facilities, or maybe up to 5 people. And so some of these individuals may be mentally retarded, or they might have, so there may be mental retardation, they might be developmentally disabled, or just elders with some disabilities. Can the care home operator come in and ask for a rehabilitation type loan?
At the present time, and I think a lot of it has to do with the economic environment that we've got today, we have had that program available in the past, but at this time, we do not have anything available for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you see this thing going? I mean, we've got a new mayor, we've got a new administration. Any thoughts about what 2001 or 2011, 2012 brings down the road as far as this kind of discussion?
I think with the new administration, this is a program that we need to continue, We need to try to get more funding just because just because of the need that's out there. You know, there is a need for a program like this, especially as Bob had mentioned about the fixed income. You know, that's very key, and I believe, as we mentioned before, I think there are a lot of families out there right now who meet the income guidelines and can qualify.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I think the new administration will continue with this program.
Great. You know, and you know, if we can somehow, if you have ability to provide 25 loans, and we can give this out to 25 people, this would be great, right? To the maximum, so that we can just help the community as best we can. Perhaps you can give that number out to our community of viewers one more time.
Okay, here we go. We got the first number. Our Honolulu office is 768-7070.
That's
and
fine.
our Kapolei office, if you're on the leeward side, is 768-3240.
Okay, one more time. How's that?
Okay, Honolulu office, 768-7070, and our Kapolei office, 768-3240.
That's
okay, yeah. And if in case anybody forgot those numbers, you can always call Kapi'olani Community College and talk to us over at the Kupuna Education Center. We'll direct your calls over there. Now, before we end, we've got just a few minutes here, but perhaps I can ask both of you for one last advice for our listeners. You know, we've given them a lot of information, and they've got a lot to think about, and I probably scribbled a lot on their pieces of paper. But if they had one take-home, you know, one takeaway, what can you suggest? Tell them as viewers out there.
I think if you feel that you qualify or you don't even think you can qualify, I think you still should try to call, because you may not understand what the whole situation is, and I think that'll be an important part. If you feel like, just give us a call, and then we can figure out if you qualify or not.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I would also say, don't hesitate in making a phone call. I think just recently we've had a lot of rain, and I think a lot of folks have found out recently that, you know, I thought my roof was going to leak, and sure enough it did. If you think it's going to leak, call us.
Okay.
Get the ball rolling early.
Okay. Well, that's about all the time that we have, and I want to thank the viewers out there for being with us again, the Kupuna Connections TV series. We've had this wonderful discussion on home renovation loans with Sam Oku and with Bob Myers with the City Home Renovation Program and the Department of Community Services. Thank you very much. Aloha, and please join us again next week.